Welcome to the Grandpa Channel, where stories don't fade, they get recorded. I'm Steve Harris. My grandkids call me Rivers. This podcast is where grandpas and grandchildren pull up a chair, turn on a mic, and let her rip. Grandpa stories are chock full of wisdom, life lessons, and frankly funny as hell. Your stories are the magic elixir to help your grandkids navigate Mr. Toad's wild ride, aka life. Let's Grandpa. Listen up, grandpas. Have you actually pulled the trigger on recording your life story? I'm talking video, baby. They want to remember your corny jokes, your crooked smile, your rugged good looks, and the jaunty bounce of your voice. What if I told you there was a really easy way to do this? Recently, I sat down and I told my life story on video. Not the whole thing, but the good stuff, the messy stuff, the funny stuff. The parts I didn't want to forget and the parts that I did not want my kids and my grandkids to forget. Planted Media made it so easy. They came to me, set up everything, and then they did some editing voodoo magic that made me look like $1,000,000. Go to plantedmediaco.com and tell them Rivers sent you, and you'll get a nice little Grandpa Channel discount. All right, back to the show. Good afternoon and welcome to the Grandpa Channel. Today we have an unusual guest, Frank. He's a great guy. I've only talked to him once. It's the first time we've kind of seen eye to eye. Frank, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself, and the thing that really makes Frank unusual and super cool is that he has met the Pope. And I thought that was awesome. But Frank, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised in the Bronx, lived there for 35 years. I started out, learned how to drive tractor trailers and stuff like that, and I had my own trucking business for a while. I used to go cross country, New York to California, usually like 3 times a month. I met my wife when I was 10 years old, right? And we worked together in a department store at that point. And we were both in high school. We've been together ever since then. We're 46 years married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've been together since 1973.
Holy cow.
So
wow.
We have 2 kids. We have 2 boys. They're both married. My older one doesn't have any children, but my younger one has 2 boys, right? And I am the primary caretaker when they're at work.
Yeah.
I take care of the boys. My oldest, Liam, he's going to be 8 years old in November. He was my gift in life.
So tell me why he was your gift in life.
Well, before he was born, right, I was about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with 4th stage esophageal cancer.
Oh my gosh.
I went to Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York City. The head of thoracic surgery there pretty much threw a curve at me and said, "You got 6 months to a year."
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And my whole family was in the room with us, and, everybody's jaw dropped. And I was like, well, it's time to start making plans, And they wouldn't even treat me there. They told me to find a local doctor because they said that they don't have any special programs, and it would be harder on me to have to go down there all the time for chemo and radiation or whatever else they wanted to do. Right? He said, "You're better off staying local, because you're going to wind up getting sick." Okay, and I went to a doctor that was in the area up here, and when I went in to see him, he said to me, he goes, "First things first, we don't put an expiration date on people." Really? He said, we use a little faith and we use whatever is at our means to get through this. He goes, "There will not be any radical surgery," right? He said, "We're going to do this treat it as a chronic disease." And at first I didn't have a lot of faith in it, right? But we started doing the chemo, and after the first round of chemo, the tumor, I had a tumor in my esophagus, right? I had 2 spots in my liver, and it was in my lymph nodes. So after the first round, the tumor shrank 70%. And he said, I said, "That's great. Something's going right here for a change." And Second round, he said, there's no change. And I started to get a little worried. And I thought to myself, well, now there's no change. So that means we're going to go downhill from here. All right. He said, no, it doesn't. He said, no change is good and positive change is good. He goes, we just don't want to go backwards. All right. So he goes, I have more things to try. Okay. So we went and he did more chemo. And I did chemo for approximately 5 years.
Wow.
And he sent me to a doctor down in NYU in New York City. He was the head of thoracic surgery there. He was doing an experimental thing, I guess, for cryogenic ablutions, is what they called it, where they do it like endoscopy, and they put a tube down your throat, right? And they freeze the tumor, right? And as you are able to swallow again, you start to scrape away the dead tissue.
Really?
Right. We did this approximately 7 times. And turns out there's no longer a tumor in my esophagus.
Wow.
Between these two guys, and I'll mention their names because
Please do.
I owe my life to these two men. One was my oncologist, who is Dr. Jeffrey Ambinder in Yorktown Heights, New York. And the NYU was Dr. Kostas Bezekis, right? Those two men saved my life. When I found out about my grandson, right, we always go for the last 40-something years when I had my business. We went to a tax guy down in Brooklyn. And we were down there getting our taxes done, the whole family. And we went to a local restaurant down there. And as we were sitting in the restaurant, my son and my daughter-in-law give me a little box. And I said, well, what's this? Right? They said, it's for you. Okay. I open it up. And inside, there's a little teddy bear type of thing, right? That says, hi, Grandpa. And I'm like,
wow.
This just like, I didn't know what to think. I didn't think I would ever see a grandchild. And the oncologist had me in remission at that point, but I was still doing chemo. I was afraid to stop the chemo. The reason they stopped the chemo was because I got a staph infection in the port. And they said they were taking that port out. And I said, well, what am I going to do? He said, no more chemo. He goes, you're strong, you're healthy. He goes, we're not going to damage your body anymore. He goes, we're going to need that body strong in case we need it later on, right? He goes, right now, we're going to stop. He goes, I'm confident that if it does return, we'll be able to deal with it. He goes, but right now, things look great. We've been doing alternating PET scan, CAT scan, all that stuff. Everything keeps coming up perfect. And he calls me his miracle patient,
Wow.
And it gave me a lot to think about because my oncologist is Jewish. He happens to be a rabbi, right? And he's the one that got me thinking have faith in God. Okay, like I said, I don't really go to church or anything like that. I'm more spiritual type, but he got me to believe in something because I took his advice and we haven't looked back. But and that's the start of it. I got that little box and was told that I'm going to be a grandfather. And that November, my first one was born, right? He was born 2 days before my birthday, which made it even more special for me.
Right, right. When you first laid eyes, Frank, on your grandson, describe to me what you felt and what you saw.
It was probably one of the best things in my life. He was a big boy. He was healthy. It was my pride right there. It's like he's going to carry on my family name. He's going to be special for me. And it was, like I said, he was born 2 days before my birthday. And I said, I couldn't have had a better birthday present. Everybody asks you what you want for your birthday. And you're like, I don't want anything. I don't need anything. But I did need that.
Yeah. Can I tell you that you're a miracle, man? You may be a miracle patient to your Jewish rabbi oncologist, but you're talking miracle.
Now I'm starting to feel my age, though, because here we are. I'm going to be 69 this year, and I'm starting to feel my age. My second grandson, he's a challenge for me. He keeps me on my toes. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of energy, and the older one is more self-sufficient right now. He doesn't need my attention as much anymore. But I mean, we were two peas in a pod until he started school.
Thieves, yeah.
I mean, we did everything together, everything. I took him everywhere. We had our little thing there. There's a park near his house, right? It's called Kensico Dam Park, right? And it's a big dam, by the reservoir, right? And there's a playground there, and there's, you can walk around the track and exercise, do whatever. So we used to go there just about every day, right? And one of the things that I did to keep in shape, right? We started scaling the dam. There's two staircases on either side of the dam where you can walk up to the top, right? And you can see the reservoir on one side and you can overlook the park and everything else on the other side. So my grandson started calling it top of the world.
Top of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did a little video recording one day when we got up there, and I was holding him and we looking over the top of the dam, right? And I said, tell mommy and daddy where you're at, right? So he goes, I'm on top of the world, mom.
That's great. Yeah.
So, ever since then, we used to do this on a daily basis. We used to go, we used to walk, and I got my strength back doing that. And we got to spend all day together. It was like I would go down there 7 o'clock in the morning when he was first born, because my son and his wife, they both had to work. My son told me, he says, if we have to pay for childcare, he said, both my wife and I have to have second jobs. He goes, and how can we possibly do that and have a child too? So I said, no, you don't have to do that because I'm retired. They're not going to do chemo anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm free. So that's my job now. And I would go down there every day. It's about an hour commute for me with this traffic. So I would go down there every day I would get there like 7 a.m. so that they could get to work. Right. And I would stay there sometimes till 7, 8 o'clock at night, whenever they got home, had to go shopping, do whatever they had to do. And I would do that 5 days a week. I spent all day with him. I would feed him. I would change him. He slept on me. He would lay on my chest and he'd take a nap. We had when he got a little older, I'm going to say 2 years old. I found this little taxi cab thing. There was like a little stroller type thing, right? And he loved it. He could press the little horn and hit, steering wheel and all of that. And we used to travel around through the area, right? And there was a train station there in town, and the cab drivers would all line up there, right? And wait for the train to come and take people where they had to go. And we would go down there because he loved to look at the trains coming, right? And we would go down there. All the cab drivers would honk their horn at him and, wave to him. And he was like a little celebrity in his little taxi cab. And he loved that. We would take that everywhere. We'd walk all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Frank, he was literally a gift, but a gift in like numerous different ways because,
oh, yeah.
It helped you get your strength back from the arduous recovery from the cancer. And my gosh, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
He basically gave me the will to continue.
It sounds like your grandson, especially the first one, but also the second one, of course, have given you a new lease on life. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into that.
No, you're definitely not. You're definitely not reading too much into it. They are the reason I wake up every morning. They are the reason that I do what I do.
Have you ever had a situation, Frank, where you kind of resent being kind of the caregiver, or is it just an uninterrupted stream of grateful to be there and grateful to help?
Never in my life have I thought that I didn't want to do this. I go down, I'm there 4 days a week now because my wife works from home and she goes to the office like 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Right. So the one day she takes during the week, she goes down and takes them on Thursdays, like today.
Yeah.
Right. So today's my day that I'm sitting home doing nothing. Right. But I go down 4 days a week, like in the spring and now down in the fall. My older one plays Little League Baseball. right?
Yeah.
So it's usually on the weekends,
Yeah.
right? So now every weekend, I'm there 4 days a week. Saturday, I'm down there again because I got to go down there and I got to watch them play baseball.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I enjoy, when I was a kid, I was a pretty good baseball player, but life choices kept me away from actually following through with that. So what I've learned, my father used to play semi-pro baseball too. And what I learned was how to play the game. And I tried to do that with my sons, right? They liked the game, but they had other things that they wanted to do. So, which was fine. Some parents they live vicariously through their children. It's like, my kid is going to be a professional. Well, the odds of you being a professional are very, very small.
Yeah.
So, when you have that thought in your head, you're going to be disappointed when your kid doesn't make it. And that's what I always instilled in my sons. This is something, if you do it because you enjoy it, right? When you stop enjoying it, right, and something else interests you, you follow your dream. Follow your dreams. Don't worry about what I think and what I might want. That's irrelevant. It's what makes you happy and that makes you a better person. That's what you do. Now the older one, like he starts playing baseball, right? I'm going to say he's not the most coordinated kid sometimes, but he tries and he gives it all his all. And that's all I can do.
Yeah. Right.
And I try to help him. I try to teach him. My son spends the time teaching him, and he's enjoying himself. He does that. He likes Taekwondo, which he enjoys doing that stuff. And the little one hasn't started with any of this yet. He's still into dinosaurs and Paw Patrol and stuff like that, But, I take him to the park. He's like, I tell him, go down the slide. No, I'm afraid. I said, don't be afraid,
Yeah.
But his brother was the same way when he was that age. The older one runs through the playground like it's an obstacle course, and he's like, the ninja warrior. And the little one, he's getting there. He's getting there.
How old is the little one?
He'll be 3 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
October
that
4th.
makes sense. So the names of your two grandsons?
Liam is my oldest,
Hey, Liam.
and Mason is my youngest.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And it sounds like that you and Liam are like thick as thieves.
Yes.
But it's changed. Yes. It changes.
Well, it changes. Sometimes I lived a reckless life. I ride motorcycles, and that's probably not one of the safest things. It's been a wild life for me sometimes. Mm-hmm. And this kind of put everything into perspective for me. Mm-hmm. And now it's like other things don't really matter as much,
That's a very cool realization.
This is what matters most in my life right now is my grandchildren, because
I could tell
I spent a lot of time away from home, and I didn't have that opportunity sometimes with my kids, but I'm like paying back for it with my grandkids.
I think that's what happens a little bit with being a grandfather is, to use baseball language, sometimes you whiff, sometimes it's a hit and a miss, but you get to kind of come back around the bend a little bit with your grandkids if that's what you want to do. I will tell you that when I talked to you on the phone, the first thing that I told my daughter is, oh yeah, we got to get Frank on here. And the other thing that I noticed is that I had this idea of you having a 3-year-old climbing all over you, And
yes, I do.
I loved the way that I could hear how you were interacting, through the phone when we talked. And it was so lovely. It was just so kind and patient. And you didn't say, get away, kid, you're bothering me, sort of stuff. And I just think that, I just think that, that one of the reasons why we're doing the Grandpa channel is I think that grandpas want to learn to be better. I know I can improve. I'm not sure you can because everybody went in there. But I just think that we all can learn from each other. And I've learned tons just from you telling me about all of this. And there's all different types of grandpas. Now, I do want you to tell the story in some detail about meeting the Pope. I was coming back around the bend on that.
Yeah, well, that happened, I'm going to say this was about 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Frank, your oldest, so Liam wasn't born, right?
No, he wasn't born yet. And we went to visit my sister-in-law in Italy, right? And we went, my youngest son and his wife, right? And my wife and I, we went there and we spent 2 weeks in Italy. We did a lot of sightseeing in Rome and Milan, and we spent the time in Rome. We did the tour of the Colosseum, all the sites and the this and that, the catacombs. It was pretty cool doing that stuff. She said, yeah, while we were in Rome, she said, you have to be at the Vatican at this time, right? She told my wife, she said, make sure you bring Frank there at this time, right? And I will meet you there. And there's a viewing of the Pope, is what they called it. All right. When we got there, she says, you come with me. And they had to wait in line to get into there was like an auditorium where they had to sit and wait. And there was people from all over the world,
Really?
every shape, size, color, whatever you can think of, person was in there, right? And they were there to view the Pope. And she took me and she brought me in a room with all these cardinals, right? And they were like, you have to do this. You sit here and okay, whatever you do. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Right? My sister-in-law says, you're going to meet the Pope. I was like, what? Right? And they brought me in, they sat me in a chair, right? And there was like a VIP section in the front where you got to sit there and listen to the Pope give his sermon, right? And after the sermon, he would go around and greet everybody and give them a blessing. So I said, sounds pretty cool, right? And I didn't know what to think, right?
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden the people start getting excited. They get cheering and whatnot. And the Pope comes down the aisle, right? And the people are reaching out, grabbing him and holding him. And, they're trying to get him through. And he's just holding people's hands and giving blessings as he's going down the aisle. And after the sermon, he started on one end and he started going around and he shook everybody's hand, right? And gave a blessing, right? And he gave me a rosary.
Really?
Everybody that was in that little section there, they gave him a rosary that was blessed by the Pope.
Yeah.
When he got to me, it was like, I'm like speechless. I don't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
So I bent down on a knee and I took his hand and he gave me a blessing and he gave me the rosary. He said something to me in Italian. I could not understand what he's saying because I don't speak Italian.
Yeah.
That was like really a cool day. My sister-in-law took a picture of me with the Pope, right? I have it. I don't know if I have it.
Send it to me, but you have it, yeah?
Yeah, I definitely have it. It's here somewhere. I will send it to you, though.
Please do.
Right? Yeah. I will send it to you. There's a picture of me with Pope John Paul.
Wow. That is crazy. That's wonderful. What did you kind of take away from your meeting?
How can I say it otherwise? Awestruck.
Yeah.
It's like you're meeting somebody that is important to so many people in the world,
Right.
that, most people only get to see him in pictures or on TV and you don't ever get that opportunity to like actually shake hands with the man and get a blessing from the man, have him say words actually to you, And it was like, it was a special experience for me.
Well, Frank, you're the miracle man. I can see why this had happened. It's very apparent to me that somebody's watching out for you.
That's the case. I do
think
believe
what a massive influence for good you are to your grandkids, and I'm sure that your sons and their wives just think the world of you. It's interesting. I think that you lead I don't know the details, but it sounds like you were a pretty rough and tumble guy growing up. To have all of these good things and really hard things and then wonderful things happen with your two grandkids. I've got a question for you. If you had some advice for grandfathers who are potential grandfathers that are looking forward to becoming a grandpa, maybe they just have young kids right now, what have you learned from being a grandpa what would you tell somebody who is either right on the cusp of becoming a grandpa or will become a grandpa, into the future, what would you tell them?
Do not pass up the opportunity to bond with that child.
Wow. Yeah.
Because my father didn't get that opportunity. My oldest son was only about a year and a half old when he passed away.
Wow. Huh?
He was born in 1980. My father died in it wasn't even a year and a half old. My son was born in 1980. My father died. Yes, it was a year and a half because my father died in 1982. So he got a very limited time with my son. He didn't even know the second son. It's something that you don't pass up when you have the opportunity. I see a lot of, as a matter of fact, yesterday I took the boys out to like a play date in the park with their friends. My oldest one's friend, his grandmother was there with him, right? And we got talking. She's from Greece. And she said to me, you take care of them every day? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much every day, right? She goes, there's so many people the grandparents that don't see their kids. I make it a point. I mean, like friends of mine are like, oh, well, New York is high taxes. We got to get out of New York. We can't afford it. We're retired. We don't want to deal with this no more. And they leave the state. And they keep telling me, when are you going to leave New York? Well, you know what? I'm not going to leave New York because my grandkids are here.
Right, right.
I don't want to be a part-time grandpa,
Right.
I want to be a part of their life for as long as I can. I don't want my grandkids to forget about me.
Right, right.
When I'm gone, I want them to be able to talk about me, talk about the things we did together, things we had fun doing.
It sounds like your grandkids are such a wonderful part of your life and your wife's life. Got a bunch of grandkids, and I keep thinking that I'll never regret spending time with them. It's not like I've got tons of hobbies and stuff, but being there with them is sometimes not easy. And
no, it's time consuming and it takes a lot of energy. It's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. You grew up in the Bronx, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes you probably almost an automatic Yankee fan. I love baseball. I'm a big baseball
Yes,
fan.
I am. Born and raised Yankee. We used to cut school and we used to go to Yankee games during the week. They used to have games during the week in the afternoon when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And we had $5. We got into the bleachers for 50 cents and we got hot dogs and sodas and we were able to pay for ride the train. And that's the way I grew up, man. I grew up as a born and raised Yankee fan. My father was one of the biggest Yankee fans that they could have been. And that's the way he brought me up. It's easy. You got to be a Yankee fan, So that's what I've been. I took Liam to his first Yankee game this summer. I went. I went and got tickets from Costco. Costco, so they had a deal where you get 2 tickets for $99, and it comes with $15 worth of food vouchers, right, for each ticket, right? So I said, okay, great. I said, me and Liam's dad, his name is Frank also.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we went. It was a Friday night game, and it was the 3 of us, and it was his first game. We got him a Aaron Judge jersey. He was so happy. We go sit in the seats. He was like amazed. He goes, "Wow, this place is big."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it is. Right. When they do the third game, and it's like they're blasting the music, and they're telling everybody to get loud, and he's like, "What does that mean, get loud?"
Yeah.
So my son says, "That means you yell, cheer." Right. He goes, "I can yell." He goes, "Of course you can. Just yell as much as you want." He went crazy. He loved it. He loved it. We had the food voucher, so I said, "What do you want to eat?" All right. I want a hot dog. And now the food vouchers, they're foot-long hot dogs. He goes, "I want 2. 2. You're going to eat 2 hot dogs? Right? Yeah. I got it for him. He ate 2 hot dogs.
Holy cow. Wow.
And he was in seventh heaven. He goes,
Yeah.
"Can we do this again?"
Yeah.
I said, "Of course we can."
Yeah. Oh, what a wonderful thing, Frank. I've always told people that being a grandfather is a great gig. Sometimes my patience gets pushed a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well,
You know,
that's only
for the most
natural.
part, when you look at them and they're your flesh and blood, they have your DNA and you can see parts of your daughter or your son, and it's just amazing. And
Yeah.
I really enjoy being a grandpa. And I would, and I found personally that it's made me a softer, better person, and
It's given me more patience. I'm not the type of person, I never really had a lot of patience, and
yeah.
I have a low tolerance for people who act stupidly. I remember taking Liam with me one time after I retired. I went back to the place I was working at, right? And I'm sitting in the office there with one of the guys I used to work with. And Liam was like, he was young then. And he was climbing all over me and rolling around and, tapping me on the head. And the guy's like, he goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "I don't understand this." I said, "What don't you understand?" He goes, "This is not you. Who are you?" He goes, "You don't have this kind of patience."
Yeah.
Right? He said, "Anything," he goes, "This is the first time I've seen you. The kid is all over you, yanking you and pulling your hair, doing this, and you don't seem to mind." He goes, "When you were working here, somebody said something to you the wrong way, and you flew off the handle like it was like, like you were going to kill somebody." He goes, "And now you have all this patience?" He goes, "What the hell happened?"
Yeah.
Right? I said, "Well, that's my grandson. I got patience for my grandson. And he was the one that gave me these patience." I mean, I could get mad at him sometimes, but I can't stay mad at him.
No.
I mean, there's times like, he'll say something or do something that disappoints me or makes me angry, but it's over and done with. He's still my grandson, no matter what. And my older one, Liam, after the rough day we had the day before, as I'm leaving, he goes, "Grandpa, bye, Grandpa. I love you." And how do you stay mad at that? You can't.
You can't.
You can't. I live for that now. That's the most important thing in the world to me now.
Yeah. This has been so much fun to talk to you. And, we don't have many Bronx natives who drive motorcycles, and you told me you have a tattoo or two, or three or four.
There's a whole list of tattoos all over me, and
And I love it. I love it. I think that grandpas come in all shapes and sizes and backgrounds, and I think that I recognize grandpa to grandpa, that I recognize what your buddy at work noticed about you, that you have this sort of, you maybe would have hit me if I'd said this 20 years ago, but there's a softness to you that's really lovely, and I'd like to think that my grandkids have kind of softened me up too, and I just think that what a wonderful thing it is to be a grandpa. And I don't take it for granted, because I know that there are plenty of people out there that would love to have grandkids and for whatever reason don't. Or this is the one that really breaks my heart, where there's a rift in the family and they're not able to see their grandkids. That one just kills me.
yeah.
And well, Frank, it's been wonderful talking to you. You are an example of patience, and I've never talked or met anybody who's met the Pope, and I think that's cool. So anyway, thank you for taking time out of your day off from grandfathering, work. And I think that your two grandsons are incredibly lucky to have you in their life.
I'm lucky to have them.
Thanks so much. And
Thank you, Steve.
my pleasure. And thank you for watching the Grandpa Channel. And we'll have more guests just like Frank. In fact, I'm going to ask Frank to give me some more names of some people that he recognizes. And anyway, thank you for listening today. That's it for today's episode of the Grandpa Channel. Until next time, keep the mic hot, the memories fresh, and the jokes just slightly inappropriate. I'm out of here.
It's pretty good, I think.